Hello and welcome back to Mac at the Movies. Today I'm bringing you another weekly movie review with the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released February 18th, 2022 by Legendary Pictures in correlation with Netflix. This film was directed by David Blue Garcia, who had only ever directed one other film, Tejano, which was released, I think, in 2018. If memory serves me there, looking that up. This film stars Mark Burnham as Leatherface, Owen Foyer as Sally. I thought the original Sally may have come back to reprise the role, different character, different actor altogether. Then we have Elsie Fisher, who plays Leela. We have Sarah Yarkin, who plays Melody. Leela and Melody are sisters in this film. We have Mo Dunford, who plays Richter. He's sort of like the local, I guess, handyman person who does things around this town that I'm going to talk about here. We have Jacob Ledamore, who plays Dante, and Nell Hudson, who plays Ruth, Dante's fiance in the film. This film focuses on a group of young folk who are going into this small ghost town in the middle of absolute nowhere to sell future investors parts of this town so they can turn it into this like small town hipster thing. It's literally a small town 7 hours away from anywhere, and they're trying to lure these investors in to turn it into what is this like hipster's paradise filled with food trucks and other related, I guess, Airbnb style hotels, things like that. And while they're in this town, they come across this woman who is living in this one building with what appears to be her son. You find out was the orphanage. She was the caretaker of this orphanage, and the son isn't her son, but one of the orphans that sort of kind of hung around. They initially went there because they saw a rebel flag hanging up outside of it was just this old tattered rebel flag, and they made it a point to go up there and take it down. While inside this building, they found the woman. They tried to tell her that she was no longer allowed to live there anymore and that she had to go. They had all the deeds and everything like that. She argued otherwise. And that's sort of when an eviction takes place and things start to happen. This woman, bad things happen, and that's when the character of Leatherface more or less comes back. You find out that was not a chainsaw, that was a truck, a big truck. We got a lot of those around here. I live in a small town, and people like their extremely loud vehicles. Anywho, the character of Leatherface essentially comes back. You find out earlier in the film that the massacre that had taken place in Texas happened 50 years ago, and it sort of created this local legend. Nobody ever knows what happened to Leatherface, and the character of Sally has spent the last 50 years becoming a Texas Ranger and trying to hunt down this masked individual who had once attacked her and her friends and her family. And she's trying to figure out who that is. And all this stuff going down, Leatherface returns and hell ensues. Again, a lot of loud trucks, and I'm pretty sure that was the same one. But anyway, there's one particular scene which I thought was hilarious. You have this bus filled with partying investor, young hipsters that are in this, like, it's literally this old, what looks like a rundown tour bus that got converted into a half bus, half party bus type thing. They're all just partying in there. And Leatherface makes his way onto the bus. This is something that you see in the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything. I'm trying not to spoil anything for anyone out there, but Leatherface gets on the bus, and of course you have all these idiots trying to record everything on whatever live, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get you canceled, and then you just hear the chainsaw rip up, and I personally thought it was hilarious. Just a wonderful moment where somebody thought that their camera was going to take care of business until Leatherface thought otherwise. But yeah, I thought this was a fun movie. You sort of get the backstory behind, where Leatherface has been all this time. This is essentially a sequel to the original. So you're like, where's Leatherface been for 50 years? What's Sally been doing for the last 50 years? I would say my biggest gripes are the fact that Leatherface looked like he was probably in his, let's say, mid-50s in this movie. I mean, granted, he's been away for 50 years, sheltered in a sense, so he very well could have just stayed very youthful. Didn't have to worry about anything, no gray hairs. Sally looked older than dirt. She, my goodness, looked older than Betty White did. And just I guess the fear and living in that fear aged her so much. I don't know. I mean, granted, she looked the age that the role should have been. The Leatherface should have either had been as old, if not died. But he seemed extremely youthful, like time didn't take hold of him. So I wasn't a big fan of that. There's a scene where Leatherface is ripping up floorboards with the chainsaw, and it seems like no matter what he puts that chainsaw through, it cuts through like an electric butter knife heated up through warm butter. I couldn't suspend disbelief enough to go, that couldn't happen. Or, that's possible. But yeah, even a lead pipe, it just right through it. And the sharpest, most powerful chainsaw in the entire world. Which also was supposed to, I guess, have been the chainsaw from the first movie. So this chainsaw has, which you will see, been stored stagnant for 50 years. I remember when I was younger, my dad had a chainsaw that he bought, used a few times, didn't really ever need to use it for other things, and stored it in the garage. Probably stayed in there for 7-8 years, not used, because again, didn't need to use it for anything. And all the gaskets, everything was just rotted, everything was leaking through. I'm sure that you would have had to have rebuilt the entire chainsaw from bottom up or from end to end, whatever you would have had to have done. I remember running the chainsaw and putting it through a tree, and I think I may have gotten a quarter of the way through and it pretty much stopped working. I tried to get it to start again, but it was pretty much non-operational. So I don't know how this chainsaw managed a 50-year kind of rest and then just got back up and running almost like it was no problem. The ending definitely leaves you feeling like, definite sequel. Even when you get that final, good overplays evil, it leaves you feeling very much like, that just left it open for a sequel, which with these types of movies, you kind of need to. There always needs to be a sequel. All in all, I thought it was a good movie for what it was. I do think that they could have expanded some storylines. You could have gotten a little bit more out of it. The film overall could have been longer, and I think they could have explained more, but I think budget went to certain things that needed to be a little bit over the top, like some kills. All in all, I thought the kills were like, all right, nothing spectacular, nothing special. And it didn't seem like they went over the top with the kills. I do know that some people out there said that the kills were like way over the top and awesome. They're awesome, gory kills. And then you had the other half of the world that was just like, they made another Leatherface movie, kill him! And they were just upset and disappointed and wanted nothing to do with this movie. I get that it's a sequel and they basically stole the idea from other movies that are doing the exact same thing. You know, it's a concept that's been happening for decades. So I guess get over that. It's going to happen. Let an idea just kind of ride the waves, take course, and do whatever it's going to do. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I give it a solid 3 stars out of 5. I would definitely check it out again. I would watch it again. I wasn't upset with the movie by any means. Again, I thought that there were some things that could have been done better. But in the grand scheme of things, I didn't think it was the worst movie I had ever seen. Again, if they do a DVD release, chances are I'm going to pick it up. Most likely on a Black Friday sale or find it used somewhere, but I'd definitely put it in the collection. But yeah, definitely, I thought it was a good movie. Anyway, jot down in the comments below what you thought of the film. Did you like it? Did you hate it? If you hated it, I mean, I pretty much know why you hated it. I've talked with a couple of people that have hated it, and they were all for pretty much the exact same reasons, but you may have a different reason. So in the comments below, jot down what you hated about it. If you absolutely love this movie, jot down in the comments below what you loved about it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, subscribe, notification bell. Thank you for stopping by. Always be good to one another, and I will see you next time. Bye.